Monday, it's not a fun day. And Tuesday, another blues day. Wednesday's getting better, Thursday doesn't matter, and Friday is the last day. And then it's W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend. It's weekend. W-E-E-K-E-N-D, it's weekend.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Club Hour 2 with me and you. This is your boy, The Club with Lucas, here on RCE 106.9 FM. And welcome, everyone, to 106.9 FM as well on RCE.cat and all this good stuff. Now, remember, folks, you are going to have to freshen your drinks. To freshen your drinks and freshen your water. And gather around, children, because this is the Brunch Hour Extravaganza here at English Radio BCN and 106.9 FM. We're being joined none other by the brain children and the lovely family behind the wildly successful and growing IG page. That it's known here as the Gonzalez in Spain. Now, I call them the Gonzalez family because now we're becoming fast chums. But the Gonzalez in Spain, you can find them also on Instagram and probably wherever Al Gore's interwebs are at. But they're going to be serving us a taste from the other side of Catalonia, namely Valencia. Don't get angry, children. You speak Valencian, don't ya? And surely I jest. But they'll be streaming it in just a few minutes, actually, and so we're so looking forward to that. And, of course, I'll be throwing this out all over the Instagram web pages as well over the next year. Now, shortly as well, I want to be talking about what's going on at Comedy Clubhouse because the version 2.0 of Barcelona Fringe Festival is kicking off at Halloween and running until the 31st. Okay. Running to the from the 31st of October through the 9th of November. And I'm talking rooftops, I'm talking clubs, I'm talking the Comedy Clubhouse, not only in the original Canvinos street, Carrer Canvinos, but also on Via Laitana, near the port as well. Now, we're talking local voices, obviously. We're talking comedians, theater, cabaret. There's going to be a whole slew of things, not only at the Comedy Clubhouse and festivals, but all over the cities. And remember, there's going to be a lineup that you can check out, and I believe it's already live, of course, and that is at BarcelonaFringeFestival.com. You can also get your tickets there. I'm going to give a mad shout out of love as well to John and James and Hannah. And Hannah, it's your birthday, Mamacita, so happy birthday from us here as well at RCE. Now, let's get to because we also want you to get that information by following them at the Comedy Clubhouse Barcelona. Okay, so you can look that on all the meta websites and all of that good stuff as well. Now, we also want you to follow us here at The Club with Lucas on Instagram and English Radio BCN on the other meta channels, and at YouTube you can fetch us with your eye holes, okay, because that's a fetching way to do it at RCE 106.9 FM. And if you're in Catalonia, loves, you can hear us live on 106.9 FM and internationally at rce.cat. Now, there's so much to serve up, and we're going to be jumping in pretty soon with our beautiful family. So let's pitter-patter, let's get at her. The first song, oh yeah, and also, if you're watching us with your eye holes on YouTube, we do a fade out because we got a notice from YouTube for some ish with copyrights, even though we should not. So anyway, sometimes what we do is fade after a few seconds the song and then we come back in. So if you're wondering what that is, get the jams live at rce.cat. But yeah. A few days ago, Mariah Carey released a new record and it is The Jam. As is Cardi B's new album, by the way. And we don't play Taylor Swift on my show. So we're actually going to do a new single that is with Mariah and Anderson .Paak. And let me tell you what, it is lovely. And it is Play This Song. And we're going to play that song and come right back with a little bit of news roundup in English about Spain. And then we'll be shuffling right into the beautiful island that is the Gonzalez in Spain. Here's Mariah and Anderson .Paak. We'll be right back in 3.5 minutes, everybody.
About your suffering in your silence. Boy, I know you miss me.
It's time to bring you on home. You know, you was lost in confusion, but it's never too late to change things.
Oh, God. You know what? We've been repping. I've loved the Mariah since I was 10 years old. But repping Anderson .Paak here for a hot minute, and I really, really love that guy. Now, let's do a little bit of news segment here very quickly before our beautiful family shins in. And shout out to the Gonzalez family right now, to Adam and Lady G. Now, interesting stuff here because Spain is aiming to make the sometimes controversial issue of abortion a constitutional right. The Sanchez government has proposed a reform that would explicitly guarantee the right to abortion within the Constitution nearly 40 years after it was first legalized in this country. If passed, Spain would become only the second country in the world to protect abortion at a constitutional level after France, meaning they would be codifying it within, which is something that we still have not done in the United States of America, just saying. Also, speaking of my beautiful family in Valencia, the EU is allocating an extra 900, nearly 1 billion, 945 million euros in aid for the flood recovery of Valencia. If you remember, the Dana of last year and the wipeout that it caused. Well, these devastating flash floods have been funded by this European Commission for reconstruction. That is in addition to the stuff that they had received, obviously, from Spanish funds and things of that nature. And that is contributing additional amounts over the months to come for infrastructure and housing development as well. Now, as we all know, if you're paying attention, Barcelona lost to PSG. And I know a lot of people were freaking the hell out, because that's what happens, because it really happened at the last minute. And PSG came back after a rather heinous. I mean, the Barca kind of kicked ass until the very end, and then PSG got another one in. Well, listen to what happened. Lamine Yamal, is out. The 18-year-old winger is expected to be sidelined because of a groin injury. I will say nothing else. And interesting, Lidl is launching a $140 million logistics platform in Barcelona to create new jobs. This is going to be popping off very, very soon, as well as a digital reality center that is investing 230 million, Digital Realty is investing $230 million in a new data center here in Barcelona. They want to establish it as a Realty Mediterranean tech hub. And that's what they're trying to do in Barcelona, folks. This is just a lot of generated infrastructure that is happening in Spain. I would like to say at the current moment, this is the third year in a row that Spain seems to be appearing to be the largest growth economy in the world. Last year, there was a growth rate of 3.5% in this country. This year, it's going to steady out to about 2.7%, which is the highest in Europe. In fact, it is the highest in the Western world, and yes, I am including the United States government. Okay, let's pop into something else because we have the family waiting for us, and after this one little ditty, we're going to be right with them. This is just a few minutes of a song by a group called Drab Majesty. This is called Dot in the Sky, and I cannot get over the beauty of this dream pop industrial synth majestic music that these people make. I love this band, Drab Majesty, Dot in the Sky. We'll be right back with the Gonzalez in Spain.
For your couch
Ha ha ha. I guess that was Drab Majesty, but the majestic people in Valencia. Let me put my headphones on. I don't put them on often because it ruins my hair. But I'm hoping that I am now speaking to the Gonzalez family. Everybody, this is the Gonzalez in Spain family. I believe Sir Adam and Lady Gabrielle is here. Hey, hey, hey. Okay, you're there on the screen. How are you, my beautiful people? How are you?
We are fantastic and beautiful. How are you doing this
You are.
Saturday?
Oh my God, Lady G, you're like glow. You've got that J Lo glow. Yeah, seriously, I'm not
Thank you.
kidding. And it's reflecting on the screen. Welcome everybody, and we are feeling chipper and happy today, right?
Yes.
Okay, we won't discuss anything else about last night. Now, let's.
No, no,
I love it. The beauty of Valencia. One of the things I just mentioned this on the news segment, but right about a year before you got there, there was a horrible, horrible flash flood. I'm sure you've heard about it. Have you seen any
yes.
of the construction going on over there? I know this is a sidestep, but I'm just wondering if you see any of that happening in Valencia, out of
I,
curiosity.
I'm not sure if we have, but I know that as
Okay.
we've traveled a little bit on the outskirts of the main city, we do see a lot of like rebuilding of roads or putting these huge like drainage tunnels in. So maybe that is in relation to that.
And then also
Okay.
too, a couple of days ago, we experienced a very similar,
Yes,
Downpour.
storm.
that's
So
right.
we were pleasantly shocked to see that happen again. So it was wild.
I guess it's reminding me of the floods in New Orleans, is basically what it was last year. But let's not talk about that because we're in this year. Now, what is interesting is for some reason, you've been running through my algorithms for half a year now. And I thought I was following you. And I like wasn't. It was all like crazy. And so I started following you. And not even a couple of weeks ago, we got in touch with each other. And now we're here together. Can I ask you, because the site itself has blown up, what you're producing, I think one of your spots, if I'm not mistaken, one of your posts got over 2 million views. And it just generated into what is now relocated you guys into Valencia since July, I believe you said the other day.
Yes, July.
Can we talk about a little bit of your transition, please? I'm curious about how, the move, certainly our beautiful country and this beautiful country are having a meeting of the minds together and you're moving from one to the other. How has that been for you and your two beautiful daughters?
You start.
Yeah, I'll take it. So the transition, yeah. Tag, you're it. The
Okay.
transition has been great. So far, a lot of the warm welcome that we've experienced in Spain. I would say it's been the hardest on our 14-year-old daughter for
Mm,
obvious reasons. She's
yes, sir.
14. All of her friends back home are going to high school. They're doing the very
Yeah.
stereotypical high school American things like going to the homecoming, going to the football games. So we are missing that, but the
Yeah.
9-year-old is doing great. We're doing great. I say overall, it's been a fantastic transition.
Can I
Yeah, and there's been,
please?
there's different steps to this transition. So it was like
Okay.
nonstop talking about it when we lived in the States. And then the transition to we were actually doing this and then arriving here. And so I feel like we're finally in a place where we have a routine and it's no longer like we're not vacationing in Spain. We are living here. So
How
getting settled has felt great.
how has that impacted your inner children? Your inner children, like the acceptance of, oh my God, we are not in Kansas anymore.
So I'll speak on it. For my inner child, I'm
Hmm.
obsessed with it. My inner
Oh,
child
good.
loves creativity. It loves newness. It loves different cultures, diversity, taste, smells, everything. So my inner child is in heaven because the artist in me gets to see and experience different inspirations, different influences. So I'm in heaven every single day.
Hell's to
Even
the
something as small as going to the market. It's just a dream come true.
Isn't it
Yeah,
lovely? I mean,
absolutely.
I don't know. Because I come from New York City, there's an element of Europe that is always in New York. You can go down and get
Right.
bread. You
Yeah.
can go down to the market every day. But it is beautiful. I did start life in Country Club, Texas, and I know somebody on the screen also has a background in there. And actually, California, though, let's get it right. They put all the Mexicans either in Texas, Arizona, New Mexico, or California. And so, or it feels that way. Nevada will include you
Sure.
too. But there's an element, I believe, where when you make that transition from the United States to here, especially as parents, but I want to talk to Mama really quickly. Did you have a lot of girlfriends, like your homegirls, that were like, "Girl, what the hell are you doing? Are you sure you want to be doing this?" Did you have any, scaredy cats or naysayers by any chance? I'm curious.
No, so
Awesome.
I had a few that were like, I can't believe you're doing it. Like I would never do this. You're crazy. I've had that. And then I would say 99% of my close girlfriends were
Yeah.
like, hell yeah, take
Hmm.
me with you. Sign me up. You're doing it. Like, you are doing
Love
it. And
that.
so I'm like, I'm gonna slowly recruit all of you little by little. So very supportive, very excited. And they just were like, we're coming. We're coming to visit.
Amen.
So
And that's one of the things that you mentioned the other day when we first did the intro about being the king and queen of your own domain and mastering, yourself. And I'm glad that speaking inner child stuff struck a chord because I'm really big on, spirituality, meditation, therapy. I'm really big on therapy. Okay. But
yeah.
there's an element too where I wonder if you want to pursue, or do you maybe you have your own counselors or therapists? Because going through this transition is not the easiest thing. The girls are going through their own thing. One of them is preteen, the other one is straight up teen. So, do you have any connection to something like counseling or a church base or I don't know. I'm trying to be faith based without saying that, but let's talk about it.
All right. So, growing up, our daughters, they were at a private Catholic school, so they
Okay.
were raised in a faith-based environment, and they
Yeah.
had like a very strong community since they were young in that aspect. As of right now, we have not tapped into any sort of, a meditation center or
Hmm.
a religious faith center, even though we have a gorgeous church right outside our doorstep.
Hell yeah.
But I definitely think that at the moment, we're not trying to be counselors for our young daughters, but making sure, like for me as a mom, I'm here to listen. I'm not going to
Mm,
project how I feel about the move and how they should be feeling about the move and how everything's going to be great. I'm really been practicing the art of just listening to them, the highs
yes.
and the lows, and just encouraging them that it's going to be okay little by little and hoping that they'll be able to form those bonds and those groups to be their outlet or
Yeah.
their foundation.
That is a perfect. I mean, I didn't have to ask that proper question, which was, steps that you could recommend for other North Americans who are coming with their kids from their creature comforts. That right there, just listen. It's not always easy to listen, Dad. What would you recommend, or how has this impacted you?
Well, I'd say for one, it's like she said, it's like not everything's going to be happy, joyous every single day. We're going to experience our lows. But to me, I
Hmm.
think experiencing lows is a luxury in life.
Hmm.
There's a lot of people living their day, same routine, same scenario. They're seeing the same people, the same everything every single day. So they don't have the highs and lows of life because they're living in this drone-like pattern.
Hmm.
Whereas with us, holy Lord, we feel alive. And I think a lot of people take that for granted that we are going to pass away one of these days. So why not experience the joys, the greatest fruit of living, as opposed to just playing it safe all the time? So we never shy away from the days that we feel down or sad or happy or glad. We just take everything in because it is a luxury to experience such a powerful, beautiful life.
There is this line from a movie called A Fish Called Wanda, where the Kevin Kline character says, rigor, these people get rigor mortis in the prime of life here. And I wonder, because you're 3 months in, you're going to understand what we're talking about. And I love that you said that because there is an element where I don't know if you've started hearing this. It's the first time I really heard it was when I moved here 16 years ago with Es lo que hay, es lo que hay. And what I teach with a lot of my business consulting, my uni students, I like to teach them, no, that's not acceptable anymore. Not since the pandemic and mama died.
Right.
We have to be forward thinking in that sentiment. At this juncture, I was wondering if we could talk about the reality of accepting yourselves in this global society. We've kind of already introduced that as well. Um, why did you want to pick, of all the places in this global society, why Spain? Apart from, maybe some roots.
So I'll give you the very practical answer.
Oh,
Number
what?
one, we I would say 2020, just like the rest of the world shifted. The way people lived
Mm.
shifted. We started working remotely. I did
Mhm.
without a doubt. And it was a question of, okay, if we're working remote, do we have to be here? And if we don't have to be here, where would we want to be?
Mm.
After I graduated college, I spent about 2.5 months in South America. So I got addicted to seeing the world just in that short time. I just felt more alive, more connected to the world around me. So I always thought, how can I get this to become a reality, even with a wife and two kids? So it's been a dream come true. So go back a little bit. We got introduced to a family called Our Rich Journey. Maybe you guys have heard of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a family that
Mm-hmm.
shares,
I remember them.
FIRE, which is financial independence, retire early. So we
Yes.
just started getting super involved with their content. Hey, maybe we should save more money here so we could invest more money here and we could make more money along the way. And they were living in
I'm looking it
Portugal.
up.
So of course we were thinking, hey, let's try Portugal. Portugal's a dream. We took a trip out there in 2022. We loved it.
Mhm.
And we thought maybe Portugal is the right place. Fast forward, I have an immigration attorney friend who said, Adam, are you dumb? Your father's from Mexico. Why don't you get yourself Mexican citizenship and move to Spain where you'll get
Mm.
citizenship in 2 years?
Mm-hmm.
So, number one, we thought, well, there's a bigger connection in terms of we are Mexican, Spanish, obviously the last name Gonzalez. We wanted to build a bigger connection to our history without a doubt. Number two, in a changing world, strategically, to have citizenship in other places of the world is a very powerful tool to use.
Yes, it is.
So we just want to give ourselves and our kids as many options as possible with this changing global society that we're experiencing.
Lady G, love that answer. Lady Gabrielle, so your DJ name is Lady G now.
For mine was very simple. I didn't work remote, but started thinking about like, what if we took California to another state? And then we thought broader, what if we took ourselves out of the country? And for me, raising two young women,
Mm.
I was like, absolutely. One, I'm half Mexican. My husband's full Mexican. I want them to be fluent in the language. So Spain made the most sense. It's
Eso.
hugely globally spoken.
Mhm.
Two, I want to raise daughters that feel comfortable and confident picking up and just going. Go
Okay.
travel, go do this. You have the ability and the confidence to go conquer anything. Like, there's no fear. We're in a small town. You're in this beautiful womb that we've raised you in, but now it's time to branch out.
That's
And I
right.
thought, absolutely, if we can do it, let's strike while the iron's hot.
Okay. That makes a whole lot of sense. There's when you're dealing with kids, I mean, obviously I moved here in the end of my 20s because of the whole Bush Obama thing when it was transferring. And it's different when you move with a dog versus children. But you also moved with an animal too, if I recall. You have a cat, right? I think, yeah. Okay.
Yes, Coda or Gato. He's around here somewhere.
Coda Carolina. That was not named after the movie, right? Or the Center for the Deaf.
No.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Wonderful movie. But when you make that move with kids, and you were talking just a few minutes ago about the listening and whatnot, is there anything that you want them to experience that U.S. kids never get to do? It's not really
Oh
part of the
gosh, yes.
questions list, but I'm curious about that.
Yeah, I think they have a greater sense of independence at a younger age
Hell
because
yeah.
I know the things that I allow them to go off and explore the city, which it feels like a small village. That wouldn't happen back home. And even more so, like taking a trip to another country. Back in the States, like some US kids get to leave the States, some just get to go to another state, but planning a trip to go visit another country is a huge deal, which could happen maybe only once a year. Since we're so close to so many different cultures and countries here, like that could be a weekend trip.
It's
I was like,
amazing.
girl, you're crying now, but you can go to Rome for your birthday on a
Uh-huh.
weekend. You want to go tomorrow, just that idea, that concept. Let's go.
It's
So,
it's like a Paris Hilton moment. And no, I'm kidding. But there's an element where I love the fact that we have that access to that because you can shimmy up to France, you can shimmy over to Italy, you can, take a balloon up your bum to. I'm just kidding. It's a
Istanbul.
joke from another show, Monaco, and so there's just a variety of things here. Have you taken the girls? Oh my God, I forget the restaurant name. Well, it's an area where paella originated from because it's from over there, right? From Valencia.
Sure.
All right. Is there
the
any?
albufera, we did.
So wait. Okay, wait a minute. Are there any foods that you have tried that you say, hell nah? It becomes a Whitney Houston moment.
Um, There is one. I'm a big seafood fan.
Okay.
I'm the foodie of the two.
Rock
I
on.
take my, so we got to go here, here, and here.
Hell
I
yeah.
love seafood.
Amen.
So over here, sepia, cuttlefish, is
Certo,
huge.
certo.
So I had it twice and I was like, it's good. And then I had it a third time and it was just something about the taste and the texture, and I'm done. No more sepia for this girl. I'll take your shrimp and your pulpo and all that, but sepia, no.
Okay, jefe. ¿Y tú, mijo?
There hasn't been a food that's been mind-blowingly bad. I love it
Oh,
all.
no, yeah.
I I will say I could do a little less with all the fried foods. Spain has a lot of fried foods, man.
You
It's
know
like
what?
it's like we're living in Louisiana over here.
You know what? That is because a lot, basically from Valencia down, it is more fritito. Whereas if you go towards
Uh,
the north, when you go towards Catalunya, Asturias, País Vasco, it is less fritito, the norteños. So we're gonna have to have you come over and then have y'all in the
we
studio
have
at some
to.
point,
We
because
have to.
especially now, between now and December 1st, the weather is like, well, it's a perfect moment. 12:34 on the clock as I say this. It's a 1, 2, 3, 4 divine timing moment, and there,
Ooh.
and coming up to for that reason. In reference to, hold on, let me get back to my questions list because I veered off what I had sent you. Excuse me. But is there anything that, no, hold on. Oh, yes, the environment of creativity. I wasn't really aware, sir, of the creative process for you because I presume that you both have a business background, and then I need to talk to your wife, and you can leave about the about, oh my God, my obsession that very few people know what I'd spend my nights doing, which is writing while true crime plays in the background. And so we'll get to that in just a second. But where's one of the places, because I truly believe that where you put yourself inspires and muses your creativity. For you, sir, where do you like to do that? And now that you have to create content and that you're doing that, what is some of the things that is musing, moving, and inspiring you?
So that would make more sense of a question if we were back home, because back home we were
Oh.
seeing the same neighborhoods, the same streets, the same people driving in the same car. But now we're
Mm.
living outside of our apartment. So that
Yeah.
question is a lot easier to answer because every single thing is an inspiration to me as of right now.
Yes, sir.
And for instance, yesterday we took a train to Madrid. New
Hmm.
inspirations, without a doubt. So I feel like every new place you go, you can't help but be inspired. In terms of answering that question, what do I need to do to get in a creative state? It's truly stepping outside of the apartment and saying, Holy Lord, I haven't seen this architecture. Or look at this gargoyle spitting out water of its mouth, because that was the way that they kept the castles or whatnot from flooding. So every single thing for me here is an inspiration.
I love hearing that. Madam, anything for you in creativity? I guess you
For
have to.
me, it's the same. I step out, seeing the markets, people watching, right? So my Spanish is más o menos.
Mm-hmm.
But so like my ears are like tuned in. So I'm hearing all these different languages constantly trying to decipher, and just people watching. Like, because of my profession, I'm an observer.
Yep.
And I love watching human behavior and trying to figure out where are they from? Are these Spaniards, or what country are they coming from? And we live across from the biggest indoor market in Europe. And so for a foodie, I'm like in heaven. I can go there every day. It's a
I love
playground.
this. I mean, has
So
anybody talked to you about Valenciana? Have they talked to you about the language speaking
Yes.
Valenciana? Okay. And
yes.
do you hear it? I don't know if it's as prolific or proficiently used as it is here in Catalonia, which is, it's a bit of a derivative offshoot of Catalan. Do you hear it in the city? I'm really interested about that.
I think, in all honesty, my ears don't know if it's Valenciano or if it's another language from another part of the world. So as of right now, I feel like we have heard it,
Okay.
but the one that you should ask is our daughters, because they're hearing it every day at school as they're being taught Valenciano.
Yeah, they have
Really?
some of their core classes in Valenciano. So like I'm trying to help our oldest with
Wow.
just Spanish, and then she says it's in Valenciano, and I'm lost, but it's exciting.
Yeah, it's just exercise for the brain. So I
Amen.
think I think we're on a really good season of our life where we're learning and growing. Because at the end of the day, if we're not learning and growing, we're dying, and we're on this journey together.
Thank you,
You
Madonna.
didn't ask this.
I'm sorry.
You didn't ask this.
I
You didn't
remember
ask
that from
this
Madonna
question.
years ago. Yeah, no, that's an excellent
Uh-huh.
answer too. No, but the minute I remember her saying when American Life came out that the minute you stop learning, you start dying, and we have to get out of our comfort zone in order to really get the learning process going. And so what you've done is thrown
Right.
your
Absolutely.
daughters into a beautiful new world. It's like a magic carpet ride in an Aladdin movie. Now, when can we talk? Can we talk? I'm gonna get Joan Rivers on us now. Can we talk? Um, girl. Let's talk about your podcast too, because you also have something where you break down some stuff. And I listened to one yesterday, and I really want to talk about how you got into this. What is it okay to talk about this? I did include it in one of the
Absolutely.
questions. Okay.
Yeah,
Because
absolutely.
I mean, my background coming as an educator and a historian is now I'm obsessed with this. So your podcast is called The Walls Do Talk, and you've been a crime scene investigator specialist for years now. What led to
Yes.
that, please?
Yes. Gosh,
Yeah.
being young, I was always into morbid stuff on a healthy level. Healthy level. I share the story. I was probably 5 years old. Our cat, Kiki, she passed away. And we go to the grandma's house as we buried all the animals at grandma's house. And after we buried her, I turned to my mom and said, "Can we dig her up in 2 weeks to see what she looks like?" And my mom looked at me like no, that's what's wrong with her. But it was just this fascination and it carried with me. And I love science. So at a young age, maybe
Okay.
by middle school, I already knew like I wanted to do investigations with crime scene. And so that was my track all through my education. I was always on the track to be a crime scene investigator in forensics. I wanted to be out there in the field, in the mix of all the crazy homicides.
Yeah.
And that's what I got to do for 15 years. So
Can can I ask you one of the craziest cases that you had to work in really quickly?
yeah, I can give you, there's two answers. So crazy
Okay.
case.
Uh-oh, you're hearing
Oh,
fireworks.
it was like,
You're hearing the Valencian firecrackers going
Okay.
off.
I thought I was in
boom,
the
there must
States
have
for
been
a
a
moment.
wedding.
Oh my God, I was scared. Okay.
Oh, believe me, first time I heard it, I said, freeze, stop,
Right.
don't move.
You better
It was
act
just
like you know.
fireworks.
Wait a minute, really quickly. What
Yeah.
city of California are you coming from?
So we actually came from Oxnard. We recently moved from
Okay,
Oxnard. You were
Oxnard.
playing Anderson .Paak, who's also from Oxnard.
Yes.
So
Mhm.
yeah.
That new Mariah album, I am not mad. Just gonna say. Okay. Now back to the.
Craziest stuff. I've got to work two, we're pretty sure, serial killer cases,
Mm,
which was absolutely fascinating because you did a lot of behavioral analysis with these cases, along with the actual looking for physical evidence. But still to this day, and you can hear it on the podcast,
mhm,
was my first introduction to a dead body
mm.
scene where I had to spend, over 8 hours with a guy whose head was pretty much all the
Oh my
way cut off.
nose.
And he was
Oh
just
my
lying there in the
nose.
living room, eyes open,
Oh my
and
nose.
I'm standing like a foot away from him, and the smells and just like it kind of all finally came together where it's like, girl, you're in a living room with a dead guy with his throat slit wide open, and you're just going around doing business like as if he existed but almost didn't, because it's just business as usual. And
Mhm.
that's even that first case is the one that did give me nightmares, but I definitely woke up in the middle of the night and that smell of blood just hit me
Ay,
and it gave me the
Madonna.
chills, and I just covered my head with the blankets and went back to sleep. But so that's probably, without going too gory. I have some other ones,
Certo.
but I have to listen to the podcast.
Exactly. And again, the Walls Do Talk podcast, which is available where all good podcasts are streamed. And then, I mean, when you come here, we're gonna get a little dirty up in there with just a little bit more of that. But let's get back to the
Please,
Gonzalez in
please
Spain.
do.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you, madam. But let's get back to the Gonzalez in Spain, man. What is one of the things that you would love people to get from the site, wherever your profiles are? And later on, before
Yeah,
we get, please.
I'm gonna say to be 1% inspired to make a shift, 1% inspired to expand their life or their own reality. Because we were living vicariously through so many other travel quote unquote influencers on YouTubes or
Yeah.
Instagrams that inspired us for a change. So I want to be that voice for somebody else that may have that little idea in their head.
Yeah,
And my
man.
message to them, it's like, hey, if you're thinking about moving abroad and you're thinking about it every single day, you owe it to yourself to try it.
Mm-hmm.
Not forever and a day, not permanently, because that's a scary commitment, but just try it. Try it for 6 months, a year, 2 years, and see how your life changes. So
Exactly.
that's what I want. Is I want people to see something that's inspiring, to give them the courage and the confidence to give it a shot.
Amen. Love that. Yep, that's what I do as well, and that's what I do here with the show. We promote people usually in Catalonia and stuff, but it was such a blessing
Right.
to have that and have other people of the same mindset. I also love the fact that 30 minutes ago I mentioned inner child, and zip, you went with that. May I ask another quick
Yeah.
question about that? Because this is something
Yeah.
new that I've been introducing with a lot of my business consulting and with my university students, because there's a very low understanding sometimes of certain types of therapy, specifically emotional mental health, because it's still that, old world mentality of only crazy people need to go to get emotional and mental health, you know? Which is another thing, and especially as those of us who come from Latino families, and we do, especially Latino families of a certain class of society as well. And my family was my father's side. My mother was fun, so they understood therapy. But how do you, we'll talk on the flip. But how do you feel in reference to spiritual life for people who are doing these big transitions? Should they have a spiritual life? And we're not going to mention the Zohar talk of Madonna recently.
Should they have a spiritual life? Well, I think everybody has a spiritual life. It depends on how connected they are. I think
Well
when you
said.
make a transition like this, it is a huge metaphysical leap, period. You're making a huge metaphysical leap, a quantum leap, right? So
Amen.
we came from Los Angeles. The next day we're in Spain. That's a huge quantum leap.
Hmm.
So number one, you have to be grounded in some type of a spirituality to get you through this transition, because it's going to be a lot of fun days, a lot of hard days.
Okay.
Me, I've always been grounded in mindfulness. I've been a mindfulness junkie, so I also believe in that inner work. And life is easier for me to navigate because I'm grounded in my self-awareness, if you will. So in terms of a spiritual transition, I think if you're not a spiritual person, you're gonna get smacked in the face when you go through these types of moves for sure, because you're gonna deal with a lot of adversity.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, Gabrielle, please, addition.
Absolutely. I think we always want to be in control of our movements, our destiny, and on the smallest scale, you have to realize, especially making this transition, no matter what you do or what you think should happen, things are going to go either to crap, to shit, go awry. And if you don't have something that you're connected to that's greater than yourself, where you can surrender and say, look, I've done what I can. I'm just surrendering to the universe, to my higher power, and trust that things will get better
I
and they
am
are
in
going
love
to
with
work
y'all.
out. As long as you're making a conscious effort and that's where your attention's going, it's going to work out. So you can't think that you have full control, because you're gonna lose it when things don't work out.
Could I say something there,
Please,
Lucas?
brother.
So so back home, people would sometimes say like, Adam, you should run for mayor, you should do this, you should get into politics, and
Tenemos que
and
hablar, güey.
I know.
you- I like to be apolitical in the sense because I like to bring people together,
Amen.
and but we do have philosophies and we do have our moral compass. But Gabby, my wife, she reminds us though, it's like, hey, let's be the king and queen of our household. Let's be the president of our household. And how we structure our personal household is how we will make change in the world. So we didn't move to Spain because of politics. We were thinking about this for a long time, but a lot of friends and family are saying, Adam, Gabby, gosh, you moved at the right time. Like, we need to get out of here, or whatever the case may be. So,
Uh,
it's beautiful timing, if you
It
will.
is. Do you ever turn to them and say, "It's the Lord, mijo"? I'm just kidding, but but it is perfect timing, you know. And it's just very refreshing to hear other people from La Raza who are completely saying the same things, and I don't meet other people very often who are saying these things, especially straight brothers. Obviously, I am a homosexual, but but this is part of my thing that I do with my students, with my clients, and it's like it's never been heard of before here. And so there is a need for that spirit, for that energy. So please keep putting it out there. I will do the same here, and then we'll lock forces, and we're gonna make it happen. A call to the powers of the East, North, South, and West. But seriously,
Yes.
there is a necessity for that, and it's very. I think the children are very blessed to have you as parents. De verdad.
Gracias.
Yeah, no,
I love all
seriously.
your accents. They're amazing, darling. Absolutely amazing.
Amazing.
My favorite thing that you do that.
You know, it's 4 years of classically trained acting from HB Acting Studios in New York City. So shout out Jeannie Kaplan. Now, in the future, what is something that you want to be? Are you going to be doing more travels? Like, I mean, I don't know if you've come to Barcelona because you went to Madrid yesterday, but are we going to be getting you over here soon? Out of curiosity.
Absolutely.
Okay.
There's no questions asked whatsoever. We're going to be there with you. We're going to celebrate life. We want to experience as much of this continent as possible.
Amen.
So,
Well, then we
yeah.
should make a long weekend plan of it because we need to get the girls to Girona because that is actually the Jewish center of the history of Spain here, and it is phenomenal.
Okay, cool.
Barcelona and Girona, it's the history of the Jews here. And then Andalusia was more of the caliphate back in the day. And so you see that juxtaposition, and there's less frito over here, mija. So it's really
Thank
an
God.
interesting thing. All right, folks, please tell everybody where they can follow you and on Al Gore's interwebs. Where can they find you?
Absolutely. So follow us at the Gonzalez in Spain and also the wallsdotalk.com. So the Gonzalez in Spain, the wallsdotalk.com.
All right, folks. And you know what? We're going to have this beautiful family in the studio soon, and we're going to make that ish happen as well. Familia, de verdad, Lady G, Sir A, I want to thank you so much for reaching out, for making this happen, and then we'll be opus clipping and sending you and tagging you and all that good stuff to share as well. All right, and we'll
You're
see you in,
awesome.
well, in
Thank you
person
so
soon.
much.
Thank you, familia. Have a beautiful
Absolutely.
weekend, and besos to the girls as
Awesome.
well. Ciao, jefe.
Adios.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, man, that was lovely, wasn't it? Remember, you can find the Gonzalez in Spain all over on social media. Specifically, I mean, I found them on Instagram. They might be on TikTok as well. And the wallsdotalk.com. You can also find that in podcasts where all good podcasts are streamed. And there is one other thing we're going to throw into the mix right now. And this is a song chosen by my sisters, my little girls. We won't shout their names out because I don't really remember their names, actually. But Adam and Gabby shout this out. And this is going to be headed by the new headliner of the next Super Bowl next year in 2026. That is Mr. Puerto Rico himself. This is Bad Bunny, Café Corron. And we'll be right back with just a few more minutes of class with me.
Ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón.
Por la mañana café, por la tarde ron. Ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón.
De Arecibo hasta Ponce, de Fajardo a Rincón, en la voz de todo un barrio, desde Almirante a Frontón.
Por la mañana café, por la tarde ron. Ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón.
Que lo bailen en Lloren, que lo bailen en Canales. Hoy voy pa' la carretera con todas mis anormales.
Café, por la tarde ron. Ya estamos en la calle, sal de tu balcón.
Hoy yo no quiero dormir, lo que quiero yo es amanecerme y beberme un galón.
Por la mañana café, por la tarde ron. Ya estamos en la calle.
Brother, yo no sé ni cómo yo llegué a casa anoche. Clase lo que era. Hoy me están tirando de nuevo para bajar para allá, pero yo creo que hoy sí que...
Ay, chinga. I am so pinche proud of this man. Hold on. I think I can take my my earphones off. They ruined my haircuts. You know, people lost their ish this week because Bad Bunny, the NFL HQ decided that they're gonna go with Bad Bunny for the headliner, for the music headliner at the next Super Bowl in 2026. And I hope the Patriots are not playing. Just saying. And shout out, kids. But what was coming out of the people there in the States, many people on the right, of course, and they were all Latino and black, was that, why can't we get an American? Come on. And I just want to remind everybody that Puerto Rico is the United States of America. Everybody who is a citizen of Puerto Rico has a U.S. passport. The only thing that they do not allow them to do, because the United States has a lot of ish that they need to still rectify, hallelujah, praise the Lord, is they can't vote in the presidential election unless they have an address that is also over in the States. So many people do go over, obviously, to Florida, specifically usually Florida and New York, to vote. In fact, I would like to say I believe there are more Puerto Ricanos in New York State than Puerto Rico. Just saying. Okay, so Bad Bunny is a U.S. citizen. All right, so he will be headlining that. And I also want to make another shout out that you can get all of that good information of the Barcelona Fringe Festival, because that is going to be popping off starting on Halloween through the 9th of November. And you can get all of those tickets as well at the barcelonafringefestival.com. You can also get all of the deets and other links to that at Comedy Clubhouse Barcelona on Instagram, Facebook, and on their website. And we here, at the Club with Lucas on RCE 106.9 FM, we'll also be sharing all of that over the next few weeks as well, because it really is, obviously, it was birthed by the inspiration of what started scores and scores and scores of years ago in Edinburgh, Scotland, from the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, and it is spread like wildfire. Herpes or the Kardashians, and now it's here. And there's going to be a beautiful lineup, and so I want to make a shout out that. I also want to say something. Before we go out, we're going to go out with a beautiful song by Fred again, because I love that brother. I got stood up twice recently, and it was a very interesting ego death thing to deal with, because I at least can love myself, and I know that I follow through and do good things. And it is a very interesting factor when you're in your mid-40s and you have dates set up. One of them was official, and I was in the restaurant when they didn't show. And the other one was tentative, but I don't think they were even listening to me, and I do not know what happened. It happened this week. And I just want to say, for those of you who get stood up, get ghosted or whatever, by people who do not have the dignity, integrity to at least follow through, I want to give a mad shout out to you and say, I see you, girl and boy. Whether you're young, old, black, white, straight, trans, bi, whatever, non-binary, let me tell you that you had the audacity and the decency, integrity to go forth and try to have a date and get laid or what have you. And I am proud of you. And it just says nothing about you if you get ghosted and or stood up. It says everything about them. Folks, keep that shit real, please. And you're a star. And that's what I'm going to say, because that is also the title of this new single by Fred again. Damn it, I love this brother. Did he win a Mercury Prize award? I need to check that shit out. But this is Fred again with Arnil and the Sniffers. New single that just dropped yesterday. This is You're a Star here at the Club with Lucas. You're not going to hear anywhere else in Barcelona except Fred again here on the Club with Lucas. Folks, we will see you same bad time and channel next Saturday as well from 11 to 1. Remember, folks, take care of yourselves. Remember that you are loved, and love yourself, because if you're not loving yourself and taking care of yourself, nobody else is going to be able to do that. And how are you going to take care of anybody else? And yes, I am rehashing words by RuPaul, but she is right. All right, we love you. You are loved, and we'll see you on the flip side. Power to the people. Bye, everybody.
Always been a big star, never been a dull one.